Morning, region. My name is Bob Starkey, and this is the Town of Dyer Show. We've got 25 minutes here on air here in the region on WJOB, and I've got Town Manager Dave Hine and our Fire Chief Joe Martin here today. And the last time Joe was on, I think you said we're on for 10 minutes, right?
That's what it felt like.
But we're really on for 25. We try to cram as much as we can into this show. This is recorded live on Wednesday, September 24th. Once this live airing is done, they send it over to the interwebs, and it gets put into Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find it live on YouTube. If you go to the Town of Dyer website, you can click on our link tree, and you can find all the various places on the internet that we are. I wanted to do a quick mark your calendars update here. We've got a lot of things coming up in town. Some of it's going to be Halloween related. We do have one more show before Halloween, but it is just a couple days beforehand, so we want to get some of this information out. Saturday, September 27th from 10 until 12 is the Shred event at the Dyer Town Hall. Dyer residency is required. If you've got old bills, old paperwork that needs to be shredded, you can bring up to 2 boxes, 2 bags per person, I believe. Come out to Dyer Town Hall from 10 to 12 on Saturday, September 27th in the back of Town Hall. October 2nd, we have a special town council meeting to approve the next steps to move forward with the 2026 budget. An event that I'm really excited for on October 18th. And Joe's getting excited because he's thinking I'm going to talk about the fire station open house, but I'm not. Sorry, Joe. That's why I brought you on, so you can talk about your
Perfect.
whole thing. But in the evening of that day, after Joe's exceptional fire open house, is we've got the Dyer FOP is doing their trunk or treat. It's their second year over at Pheasant Hills, starting at 5 o'clock until 7:30. Last year was such a huge success. What I like about some of these trunk or treats is that kids who may not feel comfortable, or families may not feel comfortable on Halloween night going out with all the crowds, you can get there early to Pheasant Hills. All of our FOPs can be out there. These guys love decorating their squads. We've got a handful of folks from the community that like to go there. We're there, and it's just because we like decorating things. So I think my wife has all sorts of Harry Potter things planned for the back of the Starkey car at the FOP trunk or treat. But again, that's on October 18th from 5 to 7:30 at Pheasant Hills. Justin Gerbic with our Parks Department, he's got 3 pretty good events coming up for Halloween. October 19th is the Halloween Parade at Pheasant Hills. Get there by 1:30. The event starts at 2. October 23rd is Frights and Lights at the Plum Creek Center. That's from 6:30 to 7:30, ages 6 to 11. And then on October 29th, they have mini lights at the Plum Creek Center starting at 5:30, and that's ages 5 to 2. So we've got a lot of fun, festive things coming up here in town. It's that time of year. Monday was the start of fall, so you're going to start to see all sorts of fall things happening around town. Going to quickly get through some updates, and then I want to throw it to Dave and Joe because I think sometimes on WJOB, maybe folks have heard my voice enough.
No,
Some quick updates. The Dyer Town Council, we recently took a tour of the new South Shore Station. We still don't have an open date for that, but we took a tour, and it is it's a really nice looking facility, and they're making progress on that. We currently have bids out for our Central Park Amphitheater. We got a few bids in that were much higher than what we wanted, and so we decided to phase the project and work to do that over 2 years, because our main goal is to not bound out for it. We don't want to do that. We want to pay cash. We don't want to saddle future residents with some payments. So we're going to do whatever we need to do to keep that as a goal. And for a bit of walkability news here. We've got, you may have noticed on Calumet Avenue by Jewel, we've got some new sidewalks in, and we're working with NDOT. So probably for next year, working to make 30 in Calumet, I'll say walkable or crossable with some cross lights there, maybe some traffic calming striping on the street there, just so folks can get from one side of town to the other. They can do that. You can do that at 30 and Hart right now, but we want to see if we can't do that at 30 and Calumet as well.
Yeah, we're calling that more pedestrian friendly. Like you just said, we're trying to add some crossings there, but I think it's important to add, for residents or newcomers to the state of Indiana, that anything that touches Route 30 needs a state of Indiana approval. So while it seems like it may take forever, or why our sidewalk program just stopped at 30 just now, the next phase needs NDOT approval, which takes a little bit longer than what our in-house approvals are. So
and
working.
Some of those processes take quite a while. We had originally looked at this project at the beginning of 2025 to do a few things, and it quite literally takes months and months just to get some morsel of news that then we can run with, and then it takes months and months more. And this project has evolved over the last year, and I don't even know that they gave us a date of next year. We're just telling folks next year to set the expectations. Again, if this was some subdivision or intersection crossing somewhere in town, on our property, we could do it. So there's that. But I want to reintroduce Joe Martin, Chief Joe Martin. He is certainly one of our highlight success stories over the last few years here in Dyer. And you want to highlight that with your fire department open house, and I'm just going to let you run with it. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Bob. Really means a lot to be able to serve in this capacity. And just like this event and every other day, I got a lot of people behind the scenes and on our agency that make me look like I know what I'm doing. So
it takes a village.
It does. Trust me, they do.
Town.
They do a great
Town.
job of it every single day. Good catch. It takes a good. They do a good job of it every single day at the firehouse. So about 4 years ago, when you guys hired me, we decided we kind of wanted to flip the script on a lot of different things: training, community risk reduction, obviously training for the worst case scenario, but trying to reduce the risk in town. And fire department open houses as long as I've been in the fire service, have been more to highlight, like, hey, these are the cool things we can do. I feel like there's enough television shows that do that now, that show like, oh, this is what the fire department can do if they get dispatched. Our end wasn't so much that. We want to be able to have a community event where we actually educate people. And that's every age group, every demographic, giving them something of substance so that they can go home and feel a lot safer. I think a good example of the programs we have is, yesterday, myself and the shift went to a home in the afternoon, and in 1 hour, we installed a Project Lifesaver bracelet on a resident and installed 4 smoke detectors and 3 COs in their home. We left their house and their family a heck of a lot safer than they were, an hour before we showed up there. So the event's October 18th. It's at our Central Park Fire Station, which is over there on 213th. Beautiful new station, 4 years old, that we moved into right before I started. Appreciate Parks Director Gerbic for giving us the entire park for that, because we actually do use a good amount of Central Park for this event. We used to have it on our Hart Street station, and we decided to move there, and Justin's been very accommodating so that we can expand this event. Lieutenant Joe Bonk and his group do put this on annually. I'm just in the background calling whoever they need me to call and putting things together and in place. It's noon to 4. Plenty of parking there at Central Park on the north side over on 213th. I'm just going to do a rundown. Normally I can wing things like this, but we have so many different groups coming to help us. Obviously, Logan's Love's going to be there. Logan's Love has been a great organization for Northwest Indiana public safety, especially the Town of Dyer. We'll be there promoting our Project Lifesaver program with them. On top of that, we even bring in a local State Farm agent. There's a program called Ting, and Ting is a wall plug-in that goes to your Wi-Fi. It'll tell you if your home has a power surge, if you have a power outage, if there's some sort of thing being experienced at the electrical panel that can create a hazard, and it can actually call the authorities. So if you have State Farm homeowners insurance, you leave that day free of charge with this program to make your house that much safer. Obviously, we have our brothers and sisters from PD there as well, talking about their end of safety within the communities. All our Dyer PD members that are on Northwest Regional SWAT show up every year on their own time, on their own dime, to make sure that they can help keep the community safe. On top of that, Sheriff Martinez always sends a group from Lake County Sheriff's Department so we can do kids' IDs and fingerprints. That line is usually a half an hour long to get through. We know that parents and caregivers love having that blanket of security for their children and their family members. Arnold's Mobile Bike Repair. Chris is a great guy to work with. Great group. He tunes my bike up every single spring. He's going to be there, and we partnered with INDOT along with the St. John Fire Department to be able to provide bicycle helmets free of charge to Dyer residents. I think every year annually at the open house we hand out about 150. So the leading cause of injury on any bike accident is head injury. So again, just trying to keep that blanket of security and safety for our residents. We offer our own programs, the smoke and CO detector handouts. We have the direct on-scene education program. So if there's residents in need of cribs, swaddlers for newborn, we can hand those out free of charge through a partnership with the state health department. We go over cooking safety, close before you doze. We do have a few demonstrations. I think our coolest one that everybody always loves is when UCAN lands their helicopter in the afternoon. But also we have another partner in Powers Health that's there to talk about heart attack and stroke identification and different safeties when it comes to medications. NIPSCO Gas is always there, NIPSCO Electric. They do some amazing demonstrations on safety of utilities around the house. Lake County 911 always shows up every year. We usually leave with 10, 15 residents signed up for the SMART 911 program, but also the understanding of how county dispatch works, because some people still, even 9 years in, are still getting used to the concept and the flow of Pro QA and everything. So I think a lot of those residents, it's good for them to have somebody there, a representative from that agency, rather than us trying to be the middle person. The St. Sauk Village Fire Department annually always lets us borrow their Edith trailer for exit drills in the home. We have a junior firefighter obstacle course, which is super cool for the kids. They have a lot of fun. But we always trick them because during it they learn what to do in the event of a fire in their home. Right? We got you. We got you. You learned something today.
Learned something.
Here's your little helmet, Billy. And obviously our partners in the Canadian National Railway, with Dyer being a very railway-heavy community, they always have Little Obie there. Again, a really cool, fun thing and interactive, but we've also learned rail safety throughout the whole course of it. And those are just a few things. Like I said, our guys do a fantastic job setting this up annually. They'll start planning for next year's event. We send the emails out a week later saying, hey, it's this date, this time. So again, it's a great community event in the aspect of we can get everybody out, we can just have some fellowship, but at the same time we can educate appropriately.
And then just for folks who may have tuned in, when and where is this?
Yeah, it's going to be October 18th, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's going to be at our Central Park Fire Station, Station 19. Not the television show. That is 933 213th Street. Plenty of parking at the main Central Park parking lot right there off of 213th.
And if you show up, you may even get to see our town manager Dave Hine run through the obstacle course.
I am 100% behind that.
I'm just putting that out there now.
There's a good chance if you have the refreshments on the other side of the obstacle course that you will.
He may not even know he's going through the obstacle course.
It might even go for seconds.
We'll coordinate it with when we're landing UCAN as well.
Yes, and really, Joe, one of the best.
So,
things
Joe, let's talk about the budget cuts.
I knew that was going to bite me.
We do have a running gag internally for those folks that are listening that we want to start doing performance appraisals on this show just for transparency's sake. We've got about 5-10 minutes left here on the show. Over the last couple months, we have ended the show with a frequently asked question portion. And we do that because, and I will say this every time for those folks in Dyer that are listening, that are on those community pages, I try to be on there as much as I can, but occasionally we go out to eat as a family and we do family things and I miss a post and I don't see it. So I want to remind folks that, if you have concerns, if you have questions, compliments, any of these things, social media is fine. But to get things done, there is a difference between posting something on social media and calling town hall. We had a we had a situation yesterday with with a road project that there were some hazards still in the road. Resident found them, reached out to me, and it as a great job. The resident posted it on Facebook as a warning, a heads up. But again, Facebook, social media is not officially and consistently monitored by folks in the town. If you've got a question, give us a call, and we'll take care of it. And I think as soon as they contacted me, just because, not because it's me, just I'm out there and folks know my thing, reach out to someone. They'll get in touch with Town Hall. I called town manager Dave Hine. Dave Hine called Public Works Director Jeff Dvorak, and I think, if my timestamps are right, 37 minutes later, it was fixed. We had the road hazards out of the way, and then we didn't have an evening of residents or folks coming through town with a blown tire or some other type of damage. So I will say that if you've got a question, the best thing you can do is to call somebody. Social media is great for news, but it's also a great spot for things to swirl around. I had I spent a majority of the weekend on Facebook, not even necessarily correcting folks. It's just a matter of sometimes when the wrong information is out there, it just spreads. And so, again, we're all available. I have zero doubt that Joe's department gets calls all the time. Dave and the town hall gets calls all the time. And it's perfectly okay if you don't know who to call at town hall and you just call somebody. We will find a way. I know for a fact that folks will call the clerk treasurer's office with a question about parks. They will call the fire department with questions about shred day coming up. That is perfectly fine. We are all here for the residents of Dyer, so don't hesitate. Best thing you can do is reach out. Dave, I think you might have had some thoughts with some FAQs. You had
Yes, I think you hit it right on the head. Call us anytime at the 219-865-6108 if you got questions. We'll get the answers right back. This past week or so was the big questions of, what is going where when they start seeing some dirt being moved, and how come I wasn't notified. I think you did a great job explaining on social media that a lot of the construction and a lot of businesses coming in don't need any approvals because they already meet the zoning codes that this town has put forth. So if you come in with a business that's ready to roll and doesn't need any kind of variances or special uses, you're ready to roll. No permissions are granted. It was been set by the forefathers saying this particular zone can allow this particular use. So a lot of the businesses were welcoming a Shell gas station in the town. They're committed to invest in a couple $1 million in Dyer, and we're very happy that businesses are finding Dyer's economy as one they want to be partners with. And we had some residents call up saying, hey, I was never notified that this was going in. Basically, it's going on a Route 30 district that has allowed use of gas stations, and I know we already got 6 or 7 of them, but Route 30's a prime candidate for that kind of usage with the traffic and all that. So the only reason this Shell came to us is because they needed a special use for the drive-through. They want to operate a drive-through. So we maintain, a landscape plan. We maintain the scape of the business, the hours of the business. We do keep that all in mind. I think some of the residents kind of forget that we're also residents as well. So we want to see the best kind of product go there. So that was one of the most common questions this week at the office. There is another exciting Panda Express coming in town, so they're starting to see some stakes out there, some ground clearing maybe here in the near future. That's going to start a lot of questions. Panda Express is going to be a great addition to Route 30 next to Taco Bell. It's going to be a perfect completion of that Route 30 corridor there.
Panda Bell.
There you go. If you can't find something to eat in that corridor, then it's nothing out there. There's every restaurant available. So we're excited about that. And we love those questions. Honestly, we get some questions where the residents seem a little angered at first. And I'll be honest with you, some of the conversations go 20, 25 minutes long. And by the end of the conversation, we're all leaving understanding the process and understanding it.
Well, it is such a as much as you want to hope that government is simple, it's not. It's very complex, and it's complex for 100 years worth of reasons, especially in Dyer. And so I do. I nerd out over this stuff. I often see if you see me posting on social media on a comment thread, my comments are usually 3 or 4 paragraphs long because I kind of nerd out about it. If you want, you can find it on townofdyer.com, or you could just simply go to Google and type in Town of Dyer zoning ordinance or zoning codes, whatever that may be. And we have an entire section on our website. It details the map of Dyer, where all the different zones are in Dyer. And then we have a second spreadsheet that lists all of the approved uses for those. And so occasionally we, at our monthly town council meetings, those are broadcast live on YouTube, and the repository's there. You will hear Brian Lane, our Director of Operations, every month give us a rundown of the new businesses that are in town, because a vast majority of those don't need any approval. Yep. They are private land transactions between a business owner and someone who owns the property or the building that they're going to rent. It's already approved. And my estimation has always been for government to, aside from setting up certain boundaries, as in we probably don't want a tattoo shop next to the elementary school in the middle of a subdivision. Mm-hmm. So that's. But me, as someone who is covered in tattoos, I find a use for that somewhere else. So aside from setting up some of those boundaries, our job is to get out of the way. And like Town Manager Dave Hine just mentioned, the fact that we have groups constantly knocking on Dyer's door, wanting to be a part of Dyer's economy, Dyer's retail market is really exciting for what is, and I get poked for this one a lot, is for what is still in my opinion, a bedroom community.
Sure.
But that we're growing with places to
and to
shop.
add the asterisk to your statement, I think it's perfectly acceptable for you as an elected official to respond to those social media. And I think some people think that we're not that responding to it because you don't see the Town of Dyer responding to each and every question on there. And government social media is a little different than elected officials. I think that is your job. You're the one that has to pound the doors every 4 years, so you need to be responsive like that. What government is here to do is to point you in the direction to get the answers, and we want to give you the direction is to contact someone in the town to get that right answer. You won't see someone engage back and forth if there's a question about zoning, or we don't want you to be dependent on, I'll just go to Facebook for the question. We want you to go to Facebook for the whereabout to be directed to it. You never report an emergency to the Dyer Police Department Facebook page. We don't have 24/7 coverage of social media, so that's kind of where we want to.
You don't want to send a Facebook message to the Dyer Fire Department's Facebook page that says, "Hey, my CO detector is going off.
What should I do?
What should I do?" So from emergencies back.
Well, on top of that too, I think it's important, since we're on the show, since you brought that up. People still call the firehouse for things like that, and I think it's very, very important and pertinent to mention 911 is that direct line of contact, because even though we're staffed 24 hours a day, it does not mean that we're always in the building 24 hours a day because of runs and other things and training and so much in events that phone call might get missed, just like that message.
And there's a ton of folks out there who, 911, I think probably my generation, maybe the next one, but then for the back was all trained that if it's an emergency, you call 911. Otherwise, you just call a station for something. Yeah. But no, it's a direct route to dispatch, and that's how our people know. So I tell folks all the time, if there's a noise issue, if there's something, call 911.
Yeah. One of the biggest state mandates that we've had to reverse the brainwashing of the children. Don't call 911 unless it's life or death. Don't call 911 whether it's life or death. Yeah. And now 2015 rolls around and it's like, call 911 for everything. Yeah. But I can't physically force myself to dial 911 because of that's how it works. It's a dispatch center that handles the calls. And, we even went into, I know you feel bad about dialing 911. Here's the number. 219-660-0000. Use that one if you feel better. Yeah. That's a different one. The same people answer the phone, so it just if it makes you easier to dial a number to get to the
dial
dispatch
more
center,
numbers. Yes.
Dial more numbers. I think if we can add we have the newsletter that comes out every month where we like to get the information out there. We have the text program. If you're not part of the text program, you need to be part of the text program. Text Dyer to 219-215-4304. The word Dyer, D-Y-E-R, to 219-215-4304, and you'll get our updates for road closures, fests, fireworks, open houses, some activities there. It's definitely beneficial. We have our website, we have our Facebook, and we have the phone number to get your answers.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Town of Dyer Show here on WJOB. Afterwards, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the YouTubes, all of those good things. I want to thank Town Manager Dave Hine and Fire Chief Joe Martin. Come on out to the fire open house on October 18th at Central Park on the north end. It'll be a really good time. And I haven't gotten the wave off yet to stop talking,
Okay.
but I think she's smirking like I'm about to
Getting
wave.
ready,
Oh,
yeah.
one more quickly before she shuts
Can we
you
do
off.
two shout-outs real quick because they're going to hate me for it? This past Friday in Indianapolis, for the second year in a row, our department received the State of Indiana Firefighter of the Year. This year was Mitch Crooker, and he's really going to be mad at me. We had
That's Mitch Crooker.
Mitch Crooker. We really, the fire officer of the year for the state of Indiana was our operations chief, Scott Hemrick. So really shows how amazing this community, this department, and everything else is. So thanks for that opportunity to make him even more mad at me.
Yeah,
But
maybe we should bring him on a future show.
I actually love that idea.
Sounds
I think,
good.
Yeah.
A future show, but right now my producer is saying, but not this show. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next month.